All right, welcome back, SEMA. Craig, I'm excited to have you here today from CCC. You know, there's been some new things that I've been seeing here with the estimating system, right? I'm used to logging in, getting to the shop, right? Getting my cup of coffee, putting my password, and firing up my desktop. I hear there's something new, and I've played with it, and I think there's something that we got to talk about this. So why don't you just tell us what are we going to start looking at here?
Yeah, so hey, thanks for the opportunity to talk about it. And yeah, we're talking to audiences all around the country, we're talking to customers all over the place about starting your day off by logging in to cccone.com. And I spell it out so nobody puts CCC in the number one. It's cccone.com. We're on the web.
Okay.
So we're going to go through some pretty cool things here. We're going to show you some tips and tricks, but what we're going to start off with is how to get in there.
Okay.
So now, if you don't actually type into a web browser, cccone.com, if you're in your desktop, so which is what everybody's familiar with, right?
Yeah.
You could click on this link in the top right corner, ccc1.com, and it jumps you right into ccc1.com, and this is what you'll see. We call it your action center. It's like home base.
Okay.
In CCC1. Now, let's think about what I'm saying here. You can access CCC1 now from anywhere, from any browser, if you have an internet connection. That's freedom, right?
Okay. So I know for a while, because I had some friends that are Apple users, and I'm not one of those Apple guys out there. Does that mean that it works on their browser now?
Yes. So dust off your Macs and your iPads. Everybody says, oh, why can't you be on Mac and Apple? We are. So Safari is the browser.
Okay.
And yeah, any type of browser, any type of operating system, it's just like any other website. You log in with your username and password. It does not conflict, so it doesn't bounce you out of desktop.
Okay.
And you get in there and you start exploring.
Okay, so is it the same? Is it different? What are we looking at?
Definitely different. And we're going to show you a couple slides here so you get a feel for how it's a little different. But being on the web affords us a whole lot of opportunity to do things that are more beneficial as an estimator, as a manager, as anybody that's in the different roles within a shop. You have the ability to do things a little differently and a little bit better because of being on the web.
Okay.
So what you're seeing here on the screen, I purposely brought this arrow in. That's a little megaphone in the top right corner. I would encourage everybody, if you haven't been in .com yet, sign in the morning. Make it part of your morning routine. When you're drinking your cup of coffee and you're logging into the desktop, log into .com, because when you get in here and you click on that megaphone in the top right corner, you get all sorts of just great information.
Okay.
It could be information on our legacy products. It could be information, tips and tricks on how to do this in web and how to do that. It could be about product add-ons and features. We do about 250 releases a year. And as you can imagine, it's really hard to communicate with 30,000 shops across the country. Like, everybody's inbox is stacked up,
Yeah.
right? So if we can put things in a place where people check in when it's convenient to them,
Yeah.
that's what we would like to do, and that's what's happening when you click on that megaphone.
So you got your news, you got your updates, anything. So that's an important box you want to just reference when you see that little megaphone right there.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Cool.
Make it part of your morning routine. Now, once you've done that, you're still in your action center. The 9 block over there on the top left, I call it the 9 block. If you click on that, it opens up that drop down, and those are all your dashboards, all the places that you can launch out to in .com. And for the sake of our conversation today, what's the most important one? Work files. Now, the other stuff that you see here, it's dependent upon what you subscribe to.
Yeah.
So if you're in the management system, you're going to see management system options for you to jump out to. But we're going to spend a little time on work files because I want everybody to understand that wherever you write your estimate, whether you've written it in the mobile app, whether you've written it in .com or on the desktop, all those files reside at the cloud. And when I log into something else, there they are.
Okay. So this is like an app center, and then you're going to go into your work file center.
You got it.
Cool.
So here's once we're in work files and we're looking at an actual estimate, here's what it looks like.
Okay.
Here's what the interface of writing an estimate now looks like. So those of you that have written on desktop for years and pathways and everything that we've come up to, and by the way, this is important to note, all of you out there that feel like you have not changed and you don't want to change, you used to use a Polaroid to take your photos, didn't you?
Absolutely.
So we've all changed. Well, here's just another change.
Yeah.
And it's the ability to write an estimate from anywhere at any time. So think of, I could be in my service lane at a dealership that I have a relationship with. I could be in a tow yard. I could be at a customer's house. As long as I have an internet connection, I bring my tablet, I bring my laptop. I've broken free from being connected to my server at my shop. I can be anywhere. So now here I am looking at an estimate. The tabs are all down the left-hand side instead of across the top, which you're used to in desktop. But you have the ability to jumpstart an estimate in .com.
Okay.
And what that means is, don't confuse it with a mobile jumpstart on an app. So if you do a mobile jumpstart on our app, that's what brings in the AI predictions.
Right.
If you do a jumpstart here, you're jumpstarting the estimate, and you get this cool little, I call it like a worksheet.
Okay.
So I get to see the photo, and I can start quickly banging down through this estimate and saying replace, repair, R&I, replace, repair. Whatever I need as I go down through, and I'm starting the estimate right here in .com, nice and fast, nice and easy. Literally a jump start.
So this is taking something that you would normally spend, a few minutes, like 10, 15, sitting behind that monitor with the customer in front of you, and then now you can just kind of expedite that process a little bit, maybe, and get
You got
to
it.
the quick parts.
That's right.
Okay.
So now let's look at what some of the estimate lines look like. So some of the differences. So from desktop to .com. When I'm looking at an estimate in .com, I can do inline editing. So I can look at this line, click on this line, and start editing this line or adding manual line notes. I can edit the property. So you can see that here when you open up this little drop down. But check this out. I'd love to say we invented this, but the microphone is in your virtual keyboard. And if you click the microphone, now you can do speech-to-text notes. And we talk to shops all the time about the value of notes. And let's face it, we're not all good at typing notes, right? And standing there on a mobile device or on a tablet makes it a little bit more challenging.
Yep.
Click the microphone, speech-to-text. That's a big advantage over desktop.
Now, is there like something that you'd want to, in terms of a voice-activated note? Are we thinking like explaining the repair details, or is it like, hey, this is a one-time used part? What kind
Any of the above. So think of when you're in desktop and you see all those different notes fields, whether it's about a prior damage note, or an unrelated prior damage, or a related prior damage, or I want to talk about a customer communication. All those notes fields, when you're in .com, you have this virtual keyboard with your microphone. All of those fields can be speech to text.
Okay, so
if you're in the estimate, yeah, you could explain why am I doing this? Why am I replacing this? Why does this need to be repaired? And now you can explain it in a line note by speech to text.
Documentation is key.
Documentation is key. Absolutely true. So there's our microphone. We'll move to the next screen. So check this out. This might be one of the most powerful changes.
But there's more.
Well, wait, there's more. So feedback that we've gotten for years, and maybe I think you'll get this right away. So you've written an estimate line, and you want to alter it, you want to change it, you want to change the procedure. Let's say you're less tenured, less seasoned estimator out at the car, wrote for a repair on this aluminum fender.
Okay.
It comes in and you're like, that needs to be replaced. Well, in the past, and in desktop, you would have to delete that line and re-add it. Well, now in .com, you can swap operations. You don't have to delete and re-add. And it'll make the adjustments on your R&Is the rest of the way and the overlaps the rest of the way down the estimate. So being able to do that swap is pretty powerful.
And the line note stays the same?
So if you've done a line note proceeding, like for that repair, no, you'll now re-enter a new line note as to why you switched it to replace.
Okay, that's just something good to know. The line note would need to be re-added or justified. Okay, perfect.
And I think what's really important here is in this world where we're so challenged with getting employees into the industry, right? And it's not just technicians; it's across our front offices and our estimators. And if you're going to use people that are less tenured or less seasoned or that just don't know how to write a complete estimate, you want the ability to be able to review that estimate and make quick changes like this.
Okay.
So that's why we felt this was a pretty important feature to show.
Excellent.
How about parts? So parts quotes filtered by advisor rules. So now we're talking about something a little deeper. So if you have a DRP partner that you have a relationship with that shares their advisor rules within CCC1 with you, so you kind of know what the rules are of that DRP agreement.
Right.
Well, there are a few companies now that are piloting this where if you look in the top left corner, there's a little toggle, filtered by advisor rules. So in .com, it affords us the ability to filter the parts that are in that source parts button by the advisor rules.
Okay.
So if I have that turned on, I'm only going to see the ones that agree with the guidelines that are being shared in CC1. So here, let's talk about what that experience is currently. I would have to go all the way through, write my whole estimate, and run the advisor report to then find out that there's a couple of parts that maybe I need to change to be compliant. And now I have to go and make the switch or make the delete and then the re-add and then run the advisor again. Well, now I'm going to start to see these up front and understand what's within the guidelines as I'm writing my estimate.
So there's less room for error, which means more time spent fixing the car or processing another file with accuracy and not fixing those scoring issues.
That's absolutely right. Now, when you look at this screen, it doesn't mean that you're stuck with that. Like you have the ability to toggle it off.
Right.
Ultimately you have control. And those of you that have been in Pathways and CCC1 for all these years, you'll recognize that this is very similar to the old compare sheet. So like I could switch it to a repair and say, all right, well if I were to repair it for 6 hours, how does that look compared to if I did it Opto EM or reconditioned or used? And now I can start making business decisions as to what might be the most beneficial way to fix this car, not just what the guidelines say.
Right.
So it's important that you see that you have options and you're ultimately in control. In the bottom left, you also have the ability to then step through part by part by part and make all your parts decisions one by one. So in this case, it's talking about replace bumper cover. If I were to hit next, then it might show me the headlight. Then it shows me the fender. So I'm making those decisions each part at a time.
So you're not doing this in the actual repair planning, like as you're just choosing the part, and then this is now a separate part process.
Awesome point. So if I'm writing an estimate, and this is true for mobile Jumpstart on my phone, as well as in .com, I'm just concerned with writing an estimate for whether something needs to be repaired, replaced, R&I'd, refinished. My second step of the estimating process is then sourcing the parts. So I'm not burdened by making those part type decisions at the time of estimating. I just want to decide, is it replace or repair or refinish or R&I? And then next step, now let me start drilling down and deciding what part types to use.
Okay, I mean, that right there I can see as being really beneficial because now my mind is focused on writing that repair the way it should be without the distraction, and then I can then focus on that next stage.
That's right. So now, if you're a shop that's concerned about margin per part or margin on the total job, you can approach it differently when you're sourcing your parts. And then ultimately in CCC1, you go to the shopping cart, and now you can start looking at what your margin is on all of the parts individually or collectively, and then jump back here and make those swaps. It's important that you also know if I make a swap, I didn't have to delete the line and add it. It makes the change on the estimate.
Love it. Okay.
So let's look at what's next. So this personal favorite. So I go into a lot of shops now and I see multiple screens and multiple monitors. It used to be that everybody worked off one little screen, but now everybody wants the ability to drag out to other monitors. A lot of times that's because they got software going for multiple reasons, right? Well, in ccc1.com, if you click on those icons, that icon that I'm pointing at right there is a photo icon.
Okay.
And what happens is when I click on that, it gives me this little drop down and it says, do you want to open in a new tab or open in a new window? When I select it, there are my photos and I can drag that out to a separate monitor. So now I have a new tab, I drag out to a separate monitor and I can continue writing my estimate. I don't have to bring up the photos on my phone while I'm writing my estimate because let's face it, like, you want to believe that you know exactly what the car needed, but you're still going to have to reference the photo every once in a while for something.
And that was something that I would have to go to my attachment folder and then go back and then toggle back between my estimate screen. So that now lives on a new tab.
That's right.
That I can drag over and I can now be more powerful on that.
There you go. Okay. Now, someone may say, what's the downside to that? The downside, you got more tabs open now. So make sure you close your tabs after you're done with a job because you may have multiple tabs of photos, multiple tabs of ROs. That might be a downside for some people, having all those tabs open.
I'm just thinking about my kid's laptop at home. He's got multiple tabs open.
That's right.
Don't even want to get in there.
All the way across. So, and what some other things that you may see here on this screen before we wrap up, down below, you see all your groups, and you may have noticed that you see those blue dots there.
Yep.
Those blue dots are telling you that you've been in that group before. So something's happened in that group. Once I open up that group, the part diagram itself has actually changed, and it'll change the color of the parts that you've already touched. I say touched because it doesn't matter whether you repaired it or replaced it. It'll just change the color, knowing that you've done something with it.
Yep.
And it just gives you a little extra level of confidence that, like, okay, so I've already been in the bumper, I've already been in here, I've already been here. Know where you're talking about, and know where you are in your estimate.
So this is where things start to get more familiar with your existing, desktop program, right? You got your part selection on the bottom. The groupings are all similarly laid out.
Yeah.
So now you start to feel, okay, I can use this. Like, it's not a whole big transition other than getting into the web base.
So yeah, and I love that you brought that point up. So navigation of the web is different. It just is. So is using your phone or a digital camera versus a Polaroid.
Right.
It's just different. It's changed. But you're absolutely right. When you're here and you're looking at this screen and you're looking at the groups, it's very familiar. So you're used to seeing the motorbook groups and how it drills down and it goes to the subgroups. It's the same experience.
I like it. So far, I mean, I'm on board. I start to see like the tire information, the frame sheets, the parts code table. So the parts code table, does that carry over from your existing desktop, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's important that everybody, I keep saying it's important. It's important that everybody understands all those profile things, let's say, just stuff that you've saved in your profile. It's the same across .com. It's the same in your mobile app. It's the same in desktop. The crucial point here to be made is you have the ability to go into settings in .com as opposed to having to go to desktop, into configure, into profiles. Now I can do more and more and make changes to my settings in .com. The reason why that's so powerful is you could do it anywhere at any time.
And it's instant.
So we're porting more and more stuff over from our management system. So right now, consider estimating a done deal. So like we have everything ported over there. Are we adjusting? Are we adding features? Are we adjusting according to feedback that we're getting from real users? Yes. But you could come in here and do an estimate start to finish with all your customer information, and it's a full experience. Management system, we're porting more and more stuff over. So eventually the time will come where you can do a full-blown RO and your performance and your repair plan and all that as well. I want to make sure you know that there's no line in the sand. There's no date written down. There's no, well, as of this date, that's it. No more desktop access and you're all in trouble. You have to be in .com. But the obvious thing is we are transitioning to a web-based product. We are looking at first quarter or second quarter of next year to start bringing in new customers. So a brand new CCC customer would come in on the web. And imagine what that experience would be like. No CDs, no DVDs, no flash drive for installation, no server install. It's, here's your username, go log in. So someone can make the decision to purchase the product, and within a half hour, they're already in writing an estimate.
I mean, right now I see the benefits of it. I mean, again, I'm just thinking, like, how do we get people to understand that this is the same information, right? We're using motor data, part information, the schematics are going to be similar. I mean, I got in there, I started playing with it. It was uncomfortable at first.
Sure.
But the more you use it, it's like starting to, my desktop I don't think I logged in for the past couple of weeks. And I feel like, this is the way I'm moving forward now. So I'm, giving it a shot.
And the number one thing that I say to people all the time is just get in there. Just get in there and start kicking it around. You don't want to get to a situation where that time does come and now your entire staff has to bear down and get used to what the experience is in .com. And meanwhile, they just passed up 6 months to 12 months of the ability to do that already.
Right.
And I don't want anybody looking at 6 to 12 and saying, all right, so that means they're going to end it on it.
Yeah.
There's no date in the sand yet for when we're going to make the switch.
Pay attention to the megaphone.
That's right. Pay attention to the megaphone. So I do say that to all the audiences that I speak to. Please take the time, make it part of your day, get your cup of coffee, log into .com and start exploring. Start checking it out. And then give us feedback. If anybody that's out there is hearing us and you're here at SEMA now, 31195 is our booth. Everybody's there, prepared to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
They'll show you the ins and outs. They'll show you how to get in there. They'll show you how to get started. You may have been in .com and you didn't even know it yet because you clicked on some other things in desktop that threw you over there. Let them show you how to log in. Let them show you what the Action Center does. Let them show you all the features that are already there waiting for them to start taking advantage of.
Well, you know what, Craig? I mean, this is definitely the direction I see that we're going to move forward with. I'm excited that I can tell my friends that they can get their Apples out there, the MacBooks out.
Dust off those iPads.
Exactly. I think we can finally include them into the party.
There you go.
But no, I'm excited about this because again, things are going to be updated live. They're going to be on demand right now. So with that, like I said, I can't appreciate your time here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else is coming out on the pipeline, and continue the working relationship that we have.
Well, we really appreciate the opportunity to sit up here and speak to all of you. So thank you, and get in there. CCCone.com. Log in. Go check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.